Opinion: why is IMF still backing Pakistan? World must ask tougher questions. In May 2025, the International Monetary Fund disbursed another $2.4 billion to Pakistan, $1 billion under its $7 billion Extended Fund Facility (EFF) and $1.4 billion under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility (RSF). These disbursements were made despite Pakistan's recent escalation of hostilities along the line of control, a deadly cross-border attack that claimed civilian lives in Pahalgam, and amidst ominous nuclear saber rattling. Let that sink in. A country under scrutiny for cross-border aggression is receiving billions in international aid with minimal political or strategic conditions. Pakistan has received repeated IMF support since 1988, with over 20 loan programs approved, often justified by its large population, fragile economy, and geostrategic location. The current $7 billion EFF was approved in 2024 after a previous short-term bailout ended, continuing a decades-long pattern of financial rescue despite limited structural reform. The IMF's rationale is that Pakistan has made measurable progress on economic reforms: a primary fiscal surplus, falling inflation, and rising reserves. These are milestones achieved on paper. But the IMF is not merely a bookkeeper, it is a geopolitical actor with influence. And it is this contradiction that demands urgent scrutiny. India, for its part, registered a formal protest and abstained from the vote. It cited deep concerns that international funds might indirectly allow Pakistan to redirect domestic resources towards military buildup and proxy conflicts. This is not idle speculation. Just a day after the loan was approved, Pakistan's Prime Minister called a meeting of the National Command authoritative body that oversees the country's nuclear arsenal. The symbolism was chilling. And yet, despite India's concerns and the fresh blood on the ground, the IMF board proceeded. The underlying message: strategic behavior and peace are not prerequisites for financial support. The $1.4 billion under the RSF is meant to support climate adaptation. In theory, this is vital for a flood-prone nation like Pakistan. But in practice, climate funds cannot be disentangled from the geopolitical context in which they operate. If Pakistan is simultaneously investing in its nuclear posture, harboring extremists, and provoking tensions, then its claim to be a responsible steward of climate aid comes into serious question. Would the same flexibility have been shown if a country in Eastern Europe had escalated tensions with NATO? Would IMF programs have continued without pause? The IMF has not disclosed how each executive director voted. But the board is not a mystery. It is dominated by the United States, the European Union, China, Japan, and Saudi Arabia, nations whose support or silence speaks volumes. China's geopolitical investment in Pakistan is well known. The West's argument for supporting Islamabad often boils down to avoiding economic collapse and encouraging reform. But reforms pursued in isolation from regional security concerns are inherently incomplete. It is one thing to keep a fragile state from defaulting. It is quite another to ignore the weaponization of that fragility. Why does the international community, especially through financial institutions, continue to decouple economic metrics from political and security realities? Why are nations like India, who have borne the cost of terror, instability, and repeated provocations, expected to accept this pattern of bailouts without any accountability mechanism? And why is the IMF, an institution that claims to stand for stability and sustainability, not demanding basic guarantees of regional peace as a condition for such unprecedented support? The IMF may insist that its mandate is purely economic. But global economics does not exist in a vacuum. The money flows into a system, and that system in Pakistan is shaped by a security establishment with a long history of undermining regional peace. Swipe left for next video. If we are serious about accountability, then financial support must come with real strings attached. If we are serious about sustainability, then stability, true political stability, must be part of the definition. Because right now, the world is sending a dangerous message that you can provoke, escalate, even threaten nuclear force and still receive the world's financial blessing. Latest blogs.